Interesting game. Not sure it was the game that I was expecting, but definitely a game that we grew into. You're right there.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get comfy.
Definitely a game that I think we grew into a little bit, rather than. Should we get you in a little bit more? I don't feel like. There you go. We weren't right at it. Straight off, I think I was talking to Peter, good friend of the show from Austria, at half time, and one of the things I said was, which I stand by and I think is right, is the fact that I think when we're playing away from home, I think the teams that we play, because of other clubs call it circus, really, don't they? The circus that we bring.
Yeah.
It's sort of, I think, because when we sort of blow into town, I think that first 15 minutes, we're generally always going to be on the back foot a little bit. So I think teams are going to come out and they're going to want to sort of press us early. They're going to want to move the ball around quickly. They're going to want to create chances. And that's what they did, in all fairness to them. And I thought they did it. They did it very well. They were on top. They had a very good chance early on. And it took us, I'd say, a good 25 minutes to get into the game. I think from that point on, it looked a little bit better.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we were ever really in control, but I will, and we'll talk about this a little bit more on the podcast on Monday, that I think away from home, I think it's just a case of picking up what you can away from home. I think that for me, it's you concentrate on your home games, and then away from home, you take what you can. On paper, maybe if you're just looking at league positions, then you would possibly argue this could have been 3 points, but they've had a huge upturn in sort of results and fortunes recently. So for me, I'd say it's a good point.
Yeah.
On the road, a decent point. I'm going to be honest, we made the decision not to go to this game because of a few different factors. After watching the game, I'm glad.
Yeah.
To be honest, if we're going to be missing one away game, maybe this is the one that I was glad that we were sort of missing.
Peter has said, I trade the point for Max. Yeah, definitely. We hope that that's not too serious. Obviously, we weren't watching it, so we don't know what exactly happened. We could just, hear it. But hopefully it's not serious and he'll be okay.
It looked like it sounded like it possibly could be, didn't it?
Yeah, well, Mia said on the commentary that he wasn't putting any weight on it when he was walking down into the dugout, so I don't know. We'll obviously see about that.
Yeah.
Blair Vandenberg, not many shots on goal the last 3 games. Reminds me of last year when we were struggling. Yeah,
maybe. I mean, it's I think it's difficult because football's very much a confidence thing, and we won and we picked up 3 points last week, but maybe not the best performance. And then that always translates into the following week. So if you're going into the following week away from home against a team who all of a sudden are starting to pick up points and starting to look quite good and play quite well, it's not always going to be easy to get anything out of that, I think.
Someone's asking about Tyson Fury. We'll miss that one. Chaz, it doesn't seem like we decided to play until the last 30 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think again, it comes back to the confidence thing. I think maybe that, all of a sudden we got a couple of chances to get in behind and to really sort of frustrate them, start to create something. And, one thing led to another and all of a sudden we seemed on top. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Sean Baines. Sean, your hair looks lush. Thank you, Sean. Max worried me. He looked in a lot of pain. Fingers crossed. Sarah, couldn't see the dark side of the pitch. Very poor viewing experience. I really thought we were going to score in the second half. It's a bit like when you're at the Stoke Kairas, really. Where we sit, perfect. There's no sun in your eyes or anything. But when you're in the Wrexham Lager stand, which is obviously opposite, they have that issue. And I think that's why they're thinking of moving the dugout over to the Macron stand side, because I think managers have complained about it and what have you. So
blah,
yeah,
blah, blah.
yeah. Eagleman Soccer. Who would you start up front on Tuesday? I mean, I'm really liking Marriott at the moment, but was he as good as he's been in the past? Was Mullen better when he came on?
I've got to be honest, right? I thought starting Jack today was probably the right call. I don't think when we took Jack out last game and we brought Paul in, I don't think it made a huge impact.
No.
So I think it was probably the right call to switch them back. Although today Jack started, didn't really do much, but it's quite unfair to judge because we didn't have a lot of the ball, especially in the final third. When Paul and sort of Stephen Fletcher came on, the game seemed to switch and we seemed a lot better.
Yeah.
So again, one of my favourite sayings is horses for courses. It just depends. I don't think it's a one
horse race.
No, not a one horse race. I don't know. It's not one solution fits all, is it? And I think it's quite hard to work out what to do for the best. Me personally, I'd start with Paul on Tuesday and try and get more minutes that way. Look, I think a lot of the lads. There was a comment that I heard. I watched the Man City Newcastle game earlier in the day, and the commentator said that all of the Man City players, they're obviously aware that it is a squad game, and there's going to be times when they don't play, and there's going to be times when they will. And I think it's very much the same for Wrexham. I think a lot of them players are more than aware that they're not going to get, every single game. They're going to be switched out, and there's going to be other people coming in. And at the end of the day, just going back to Max is out. Hopefully he's not out for too long, but we've got a ready-made replacement. Dan Scar's come in. I mean, he was playing the Championship last season. It's not as if we're struggling in these areas.
Yeah.
Really, so,
who else have we got? Tardan, ooh, love the hair, thank you. Passes seemed off again today. Yeah, they did. Yeah, it was just excruciating, to be honest.
I think that's all. I think sometimes you've got to give a little bit of credit to the team that you play in the sense of, there was decent pressure on the ball from them. So I think maybe that's why you look at sort of some misplaced passes, but perhaps we need to be a little bit better, sort of passing the ball around when we are under pressure, perhaps.
Leo Bernard, man, I miss watching George Evans play. Curious to see if we can play him with Dobson.
Okay, just to answer that one quickly, we might discuss that on the podcast. Although I personally wouldn't play the two of them together. I think they're very similar players in the sense of like to break up play, comfortable on the ball, like to sit a little bit deeper. I think one of the two works a lot better when you've got a player that I call the hare, so a player that runs around a lot. So like JJ is a very good example of a hare, where he runs everywhere and closes people down. Andy Cannon does that very well. Also players who like to get forward and can score, whereas Dobbo maybe and George like to sit. Dobbo and George, it sounds like I'm talking about the same player, like to sit a little bit deeper and control play from the back. I don't really see us being able to play with two players who basically do the same thing, in my opinion.
Yeah. Sarah said, I like Jack more than Mullen. That seems sacrilegious to say. I'm in the same boat. I quite like Mullen. I like Mullen, obviously, but I like Marriott's pace of play. And I think somebody mentioned that Mullen can be quite selfish, but Marriott kind of isn't. So yeah, I like Marriott.
I'll just say something. One thing I want from a striker
Selfishness
is to be completely selfish.
Yeah.
I want my striker to be shooting on sight. And when that opportunity comes, I don't want him to have that second thought in his head about where he wants to put it. I want a selfish striker. I think
You've always said that, to be fair.
I think Mullin at his best versus Marriott at his best. I think I'd go for Mullin all day long. I still think Mullin needs another 3, 4, maybe 5 games to get back to his best. So I personally, I'm not worried. So
I'm just sitting there smiling because I'm reading all the comments. What we got? Adam Cruz. I really hope Max's ankle isn't as bad as it looks. I'm sure we'll get some more information on that soon. Fingers crossed. Sarah M. And the new hair is beautiful. Thank you, Sarah. I love all these messages. Chaz, does our midfield seem off to you?
That is something that we are going to discuss a little bit more on the podcast on Monday. More specifically, we're going to talk a little bit more about Elliot Lee. So tune in Monday for that one.
Peter Langenecker, let's trust Parky to get the selections right. Yeah, in Parky we trust. Silvio Fancy Boy, hey Ryan and Sean, your hair looks good, thank you. Adam Cruz, not the way we wanted to see Scar get his debut, but now he can start gelling with the team. Yeah. I mean, it's not the best, but...
like I say, I'm not... I would prefer Max to be there, but it's not like in previous seasons where, we lose a player in a key position. Not that we've lost Max, we don't know. It might,
This might have been a twin.
Might have just been precautionary, he looked in a lot of pain, but let's hope it's not. But if he is out for a prolonged period, we do have ready-made replacements to come in. So I'm not as worried as I have been in previous seasons. Let's put it like
that. David Ketley, Mullins should start from now. He is a lot better on the press and attacking the goal. A lot more presence than Marriott.
I'm with you.
Tardan, Parky needs to figure out the correct pair on the front to maximise goals. Is Mullin better with Ollie or Fletcher? Does Marriott pair better with one versus the other? See, the thing with me is Mullin and Palmer, I mean, they're like the OGs, aren't they? They were together from the start. Well, not from the start, but, pretty much. And then Fletcher came in, but I think Mullin does bounce quite well off Palmer and Fletcher. Obviously, Marriott and Palmer have played together. And it's really difficult because I think they kind of all bounce off each other in different ways.
They do. I think, for me, it's Palmer and Mullin. That's your pair. Right, and then you've got that. For me, that's what it is, and I think we are moving forward into eventually it being Mullin and Fowl at some point, as long as everything works out. With it then in a long way down the line, and in the future migrating into Fowl plus one other. When Mullin is too old.
Your dad's commented. Like George Dobson, but he does like a yellow card. Yes,
it's
a bit of a worry.
Yeah, that is something that we're definitely going to discuss on the podcast this week.
Chaz has put no need to read this out. Courtney says hello and sends her love. Hello, Courtney.
We've done it now, so
sorry.
There you go.
Piyush Gujar, hello, bro, small fan. Hello. Your dad again. Who is the new presenter at your side, Ryan? It's his lady. It's a bit on the side. Blair Vandenberg. Unfortunately, I think Max is out for a while. What does our back three look like? Does Scar move to centre back?
Yeah, 100%. I know people like O'Connell in the middle. Unfortunately, O'Connell's downfall is his versatility in this situation. Dan Scar is very much the centre of a back three, and I'm not sure he can do much else. That isn't a damning indictment in any way, about him. It's just he is a centre back. O'Connell can play in the middle, but he can play on the right and he can play on the left if needed. So I think in this instance, you're gonna slot Scar into. You're going to slot Scar into the middle, and you're going to move O'Connell to the right and keep O'Connell on the left.
Whew, easy for you to say. And David Ketley's put Ollie and Mulls.
100%, David.
Yeah, I think
100%,
that's
yeah.
what Parky's kind of mindset is as well. I think he is very much Ollie and Palmer.
Look, yeah, thank you, Peter. Peter has said maybe Ryan's hair looks good too. We just can't see it. I mean, it's not. It's an absolute mess. But having said that, thank you, Peter, for thinking about me and my hair.
Oh, Peter, I just get a room.
So, like, yeah, it looks
Well,
all
like
right,
I say,
actually. It's not as bad, considering I've been wearing a hat all day. It looks all right. Thanks, Peter. Thank you very much for thinking about me.
He always looks good, no matter what he's got on.
Leo has said, love Ols and Moles, but I have to say I was pleasantly surprised how well Marriott Parner partnership has been this season. I'm surprised, and I think mainly because I think I was thinking about Marriott a little bit from last season and how he struggled and how things didn't really go for him or fall for him. And yeah. So
I really like him though.
Yeah, I do. I
so
do.
difficult. I mean,
yeah,
it's like I do. It's a good problem to have. We've said this time and time again on the podcast. You know, we've got all these players, and we can swap them out quite easily if anything, and injuries or anything happened. But it's quite. I mean, I personally would not like to have the job of choosing
but
which
I think
player plays every week.
I think Pep, we always talk about Pep, or maybe not so much on the podcast, but sort of privately we talk about Pep Guardiola and how everything he does just bleeds out into football, and everyone tries to copy and does the same thing. And Pep very much uses the squad mentality. The squad is that, it's not just about the team, it's about the squad.
Yeah.
And I think we're trying to move towards that philosophy a little bit, which I'm all for. It doesn't have to be a settled, rigid starting 11 week in, week out. There is arguments for it and against it. I don't know, but I think as long as the lads have got the minutes and they're comfortable with the setup, then I'm all for it.
Tardan said Ryan needs a colour change. Wrexham red, perhaps gold streaks.
Gold streaks.
That would be a look.
I'll tell you a quick story just before we go. I have had red hair before.
Have you?
I have. Yeah. So
not in my time.
Not in Chance time. Back when I was.
For Comic Relief.
Yeah, it was early 20s in the UK. Anyone who's not from the UK on this, we do something called Comic Relief. It's like Red Nose Day. That's Red Nose Day. And I had my hair bleached and dyed red for Comic Relief, and I raised quite a bit of money. So
like crap. Peter Langenecker, my wife just confirmed that your hair does look good, Sean. Thank you.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
No. Peter's already commented you.
Peter.
So his wife is commenting me now.
What does your wife think of my hair?
David Ketley, good after show. Off to get some sleep. It's 5 a.m. here in New Zealand. Enjoy your
some sleep, David.
Leo Bernard, we always talked Mullen or Marriott. Have we settled with a Palmer 60? Fletcher 30 formula to start with either Mullen or Marriott?
Yeah, I think so for now. And I think, with Fletcher's age, I think the Fletcher minutes will dwindle, the Fowle minutes will increase, and then the Palmer minutes will dwindle, and then we'll wave goodbye to Palmer and Fletcher, and then we'll have Fowle plus one other. Who knows? Maybe Sam Dalby will come back stronger than ever. So
no.
Who knows?
One last comment. Silvio, fancy boy, we had 42% possession time, but only 2 shots on goal. What's your thoughts, Ryan?
I'm not bothered by the statistic of possession. I've talked about this at length before. It does not bother me in the slightest. I think when we do have it, we build up quickly and, we create chances. I'm happy with not having as much possession. Only 2 shots on goal, though. Maybe not ideal, but yeah.
Sorry. Peter's just put, she had a look and said they look like a hat.
I think
you've got a hat on.
Maybe.
Yeah, your hair looks like a hat. It does look like a hat.
Or maybe because I am wearing a hat, she had a quick look and go, his hair looks like a hat because I've got a hat on. Look, guys, thank you very much for joining us. Before we 20 minutes is about our limit because we start drifting into just talking about absolute nonsense.
I'm going to go and have a nap now because I'm very tired after that game because it was so droll.
Yes, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to join us on Monday, 6 p.m. for the podcast, wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, blah, 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 or on YouTube as you are now. If you're not subscribed, please head over and do that straight after this video. It is much appreciated. We love you all. Oh, always.
So when
Always.
Ryan
just about
loses the
to finish.
prediction contest, he's going to do the hair colour change. Have you... Oh.
No, it's just
No.
not going to happen.
Do you know how much he loves his hair? I would never be able to do that. Sarah M, have a great week. You too, Sarah. Thanks, guys. I'm off to bed too. 3 a.m. here. Oh, my God, you guys are amazing. Peter, see you Tuesday. Oh, do you mean see you in person or see you online? And Chaz, take care all. Yeah, have a great week, everybody, and we will see you on Monday, and also obviously next week for the preview and full-time reviews.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.